All right, we'll try to run what Shubhanshu Shukla said on board. But yes, it's a big leap in India's space sector. Axiom-4 mission has successfully lifted off, and like our expert was also saying that it goes through several missions. But yes, it's a big moment. It's a proud moment for the entire nation. We saw Shubhanshu Shukla's parents also, Mr. Shambhu Dayal Shukla, and also his mother, Ms. Asha Shukla. You can see the hugs, the emotional moments there after the successful liftoff of Axiom-4 mission. And this is really a proud moment for everyone. Akshay Dongre continues to stay with us. Akshay, like we were discussing also, that it goes through several steps, but yes, it's a proud moment for everyone. A great mix of emotions for everyone right now.
Well, absolutely, because the liftoff that was delayed multiple times, that had gone through several checks, that had gone through several verifications as far as every system on the spacecraft is working fine or not, was a gruesome process. The training has been going on for far too long. The isolation, the astronauts that are there, they were quarantined and were in isolation as far as their mission is concerned for about 30 days. Training has been going on. The entire crew has been trained quite well as far as the understanding is concerned of this particular mission, especially when it comes to piloting this kind of an aircraft, this kind of aircraft. When it comes to the comticalities of such systems, they have been briefed extensively to the entire crew, and this mission has now gone through one of the most crucial part of the entire journey, that is the liftoff. So most of the times the liftoff is the part that is most keenly observed by the space agencies whenever such kind of liftoff takes place. And now that the liftoff has happened, we will now continuously monitor the entire journey that is going to take about 28 hours, and the docking will now take place tomorrow at the Indian Standard Time about 4:30 p.m. On 26th of the month. So this is going to be quite an anxious moment for the entire country, for the entire world.
Quite an anxious moment, and I correct myself, Akshay, it's not a 24-hour journey, it's a 28-hour journey. So the docking will take place at 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time tomorrow. Akshay Dongre, please stay with us. We'll come back to you, but let's listen in to what Shubhanshu Shukla said after the liftoff.
Grace reminds us that spaceflight is not just a feat of engineering, but an act of goodwill. Benefit of every human, everywhere. Over to you, Shuk.
Launch escape system disarmed.
10 minutes into flight.
Water right. Yeah. नमस्कार मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, वाटर राइड 40 साल बाद हम वापस अंतरिक्ष में पहुंच गए हैं और कमाल की राइड थी। इस समय हम 7.5 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड की रफ्तार से पृथ्वी के चारों तरफ घूम रहे हैं और मेरे कंधे पे मेरे साथ मेरा तिरंगा है जो मुझे बता रहा है कि नहीं हूँ, मैं आप सबके साथ हूँ। ये मेरी इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन तक की जर्नी की शुरुआत नहीं है, ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत है और मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सभी देशवासी इस यात्रा का हिस्सा बने। आपका भी सीना जैसे चौड़ा होना चाहिए, आप भी उतना ही एक्साइटमेंट दिखाइए। आइए हम सब मिलकर भारत के इस ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की जर्नी की शुरुआत करें। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
India is no longer a mute partner in space mission. Akshay, what's next? Docking will take place tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. after 28 hours journey, and then a lot of researches will take place.
The docking will take place at 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. This is going to be an automated docking unless overridden for any kind of manual interference if required by the pilot and the other crew as well. After the docking takes place, the crew of the Axiom-4 will be meeting the rest of the crew at the International Space Station, where first of all the mission will kickstart as soon as the team gets docked at the International Space Station, and the research begins immediately soon after. In fact, even the flight and the journey and the entire process has been part of that very same research and the process of understanding how space travel works, how international space stations are operated, and how if India in future plans to have its own space station, how to go about these crucial steps as far as the preparation for the crew, the kind of checking that has to be done as far as equipment is concerned, the kind of cross checks that are there, the kind of procedure that has to be followed, and how entire thing has to be observed by the experts. So we have seen this, Abhishek, especially in the past 1 decade, that India has crossed several milestones when it comes to not only understanding space but also sending missions, from moon to even Mars. India has been excelling. It has been excelling at a pace unprecedented in the world, and when it comes to in human flights, as well as operating space stations, using space stations as research bases for space, that all expertise has to be gained before India goes on all out as far as its own space station as well as its own humans in the space are concerned. So all of these, like Group Captain Shukla has said, that this is not just him or his family member that should be excited. He's carrying tricolor on his shoulder, so he's carrying the hopes and the aspirations of 140 crore people, about 1.4 billion people, and the inspiration that youth in India will also get from this mission is going to be invaluable. It is going to motivate a lot of people to join the forces, join the Indian Air Force with ambitions to be part of something much larger than what humans have achieved so far. These kind of space stations and space missions are quite crucial when it comes to human flights are concerned. So yes, we are quite hopeful that all of the 14 days when the crew will be there at the International Space Station, the kind of research that will be done and the kind of Indian experiment, especially out of the 60 that are expected to be done by 31 countries, 7 are of Indian origin and Indian interest, that will also be conducted in the span of 14 days, after which all of these details and the technological know-hows as well as the research that has been done in these 14 days will be shared by the counterparts, and it's a great moment of pride, not just for the country but for the world, because the entire world will gain something, the humanity will gain something from this mission that will be a prelude to the hope and aspirations of humankind of having a world not just in space one day but also interplanetary travel too. So clearly this is going to be a milestone for India's space ambitions, as well as the journey of humans into space as well.
Milestone for India's space ambition, Akshay, and also, like you said, Shubhanshu Shukla's participation has, in fact, ignited immense pride, especially among India's youth, and gives a strong message to the aspiring scientists and also the engineers back home. But Akshay, from ISRO to Axiom Space, what does Shubhanshu Shukla's role tell us about India's growing global recognition in space sector?
Well, India's recognition has been growing for the past decade. The Mangalyaan mission, the Chandrayaan missions have all been, seen as not only as a breakthrough when it comes to the global south, the countries that have been having space aspirations, that have been having aspirations of putting satellites into the orbit, from rockets into the space to satellites into the orbit, to even having human flights as well as international space, their respective space stations to gather more research. The world is aspirational when it comes to space. The world is looking at space as the next abode as far as humans are concerned. The future of humankind also depends a lot on space research. So this is all taking place in that very direction, Abhishek. This mission is going to be of crucial importance when it comes to getting to know how to conduct these missions. What we are seeing today, this is history in the making. This is clearly a milestone for India's space ambitions, for world space ambitions, as well as the humankind that will gain from this very crucial mission when it comes to the research, when it comes to the kind of research that will be conducted in the International Space Station, from growing like fenugreek seeds and other kind of things that can be seen, that can be expected to be grown in those kind of difficult environment. This is going to be quite an interesting mission when it comes to knowledge as well as information that we will be gaining from this mission that will be quite crucial for India's space ambitions in the future.